We always underestimate the way scarcity shapes desire until we experience it firsthand. When she is present, when she is consistent, when her attention flows freely in your direction, you may not fully realize the weight of it. Familiarity can create a kind of blindness, where you begin to assume her presence is guaranteed. But the moment she pulls back, the moment her attention is divided, or she begins to focus on her own world, suddenly something shifts within you. The absence stirs a longing that presence never could. You want her more when she is not immediately available, and it is not because she has changed, but because scarcity reshapes your perception of value. Human psychology is built on the principle that we chase what we fear to lose. Anything that seems abundant, accessible, or guaranteed loses its intensity in our mind. This is why the rare, the difficult, and the fleeting command our greatest attention. The mind assigns value through contrast, and scarcity is the most powerful contrast of all. When her presence becomes uncertain, when her time is no longer automatic, your brain recognizes the potential loss, and what was once ordinary now feels extraordinary. This is the psychology of desire at work. Think about how people treat luxury items, limited editions, or opportunities that are available only for a short time. We pay more for something not only because of its inherent quality, but because of its limited nature. A watch that is rare becomes a symbol of status. A ticket that sells out overnight becomes a prize worth chasing. A resource that diminishes becomes precious. The same psychology governs human relationships. When she embodies mystery, distance, or even withdrawal, you suddenly experience her as more valuable, not because she is different, but because she is not endlessly available. Scarcity magnifies appreciation, but there is a deeper layer here. It is not only about her absence, it is also about the meaning you attach to it. When she steps back, you begin to imagine. The imagination fills the space left behind, and imagination is often more powerful than reality. You picture her occupied, focused on her own goals, admired by others, or simply content without needing constant reassurance. That image awakens a competitive instinct in you. It makes you want to prove your worth, to regain her attention, to secure what now feels at risk of slipping away. It is not scarcity alone that fuels desire, but the story you tell yourself in response to that scarcity. This explains why a partner who gives too much, too easily, without boundaries, may paradoxically create less attraction. Constant availability removes the spark of longing because it eliminates the possibility of loss. The security is comforting, but it is not thrilling. Desire lives in tension, in the dance between certainty and uncertainty. You want her more when she steps away precisely because the absence reawakens the awareness that she is not yours by default. She is a person with agency, choice, and the ability to move in or out of your life. That recognition humbles you, even unsettles you, but it also ignites the deepest fire of pursuit. It is important to understand, however, that this dynamic is not about manipulation. Some people confuse scarcity with playing games, deliberately withholding, creating artificial distance, or pretending to be less available than they truly are. That kind of strategy might trigger short-term interest, but it cannot sustain genuine desire. Authentic scarcity is not a performance. It happens naturally when a person values themselves, invests in their own life, and refuses to be defined solely by the relationship. When she is genuinely living for herself, when she is building her own world with passion and purpose, her presence becomes naturally scarce, not because she is avoiding you, but because her life is full. That fullness is what makes her so magnetic. Scarcity awakens desire, but it also calls forth respect. You begin to see her not as someone waiting for your approval, but as someone whose time, attention, and presence are privileges. And privileges, by definition, can be withdrawn. When you understand this, you begin to treat her with a greater sense of care. You choose your words more carefully. You give more attention, not less. You rise to match her energy because you realize she is not there simply to validate you. She is there to be met as an equal. Scarcity sharpens the edges of appreciation, making every moment, every conversation, every shared experience more meaningful. And perhaps the greatest lesson in this is that desire is not about possession, it is about perception. You do not want her more because she is suddenly more beautiful, more intelligent, or more loving. You want her more because you are reminded of her freedom. You are reminded that she cannot be owned, that she is not guaranteed, and that her presence is a choice she makes every day. Scarcity is the reminder that love is never secured through control, but through continual effort, respect, and recognition of value. Flowing, motivational tone as before. You want her more when she carries herself with independence, when she moves through the world with a sense of self that does not rely entirely on your presence or approval. This is the paradox of attraction. The closer someone stands to becoming completely absorbed in you, the less magnetic they feel. Yet, the more they maintain their own boundaries, their own pursuits, their own identity, the more you are drawn toward them. Independence creates mystery, and mystery keeps desire alive. The human mind thrives on novelty and uncertainty. When a person reveals every thought, every plan, every intention without limit, curiosity fades. But when someone holds something back not out of secrecy, but out of self-respect, you are compelled to lean forward, to want to know more, to invest more deeply. That is the effect of autonomy. She does not need to announce her worth, she lives it. She does not chase your validation, she owns her presence. And in that ownership, you find yourself wanting her more, not less. Autonomy in a woman is not about rejection. It is not about pushing you away. It is about reminding you that she has a world beyond the relationship, a set of passions, goals, and dreams that belong solely to her. She is not waiting endlessly for your attention. She is cultivating her own garden, building her own future, and walking her own path. This does not diminish the relationship, it enhances it, because when she returns to you, when she chooses to share her time and energy with you, it is not out of dependency. It is out of desire. She could live without you, but she chooses not to, and that choice makes her presence far more powerful. Mystery is born in this balance. It is not about being secretive or playing games. It is about allowing space. When she does not rush to answer every question, when she does not disclose every detail, when she carries an inner world that feels rich and layered, you are naturally compelled to explore. You lean into that mystery because it awakens something primal, the desire to discover, to pursue, to unravel. And that process keeps attraction alive. The truth is, desire does not thrive in certainty. It thrives in curiosity. You want her more when you feel there is always something new to learn about her, always another layer to uncover. Psychologists often say that relationships require both connection and separation. Too much closeness without independence can smother desire. Too much independence without connection can create distance. But when a woman embodies both, when she loves deeply but lives freely, you experience the perfect blend of intimacy and magnetism. You want her because she is with you, but you want her even more because she is not fully yours to control. She is her own, and that makes her irresistible. Her autonomy also acts as a mirror. When you see her thriving on her own terms, when you see her pursuing her ambitions with determination, you are challenged to reflect on your own independence. Are you building your own world with the same level of intensity? Are you cultivating your own growth, or are you waiting for her to fill the voids in your life? A truly independent partner awakens not only desire, but also accountability. She makes you want to rise higher, to become stronger, to ensure that you too are whole and not dependent on her for your sense of identity. In this way, her autonomy is not a threat, it is an invitation. There is a reason why the stories of romance often revolve around pursuit. The chase, the uncertainty, the gradual unveiling, all of these elements sustain attraction. When she is independent, when she lives without needing constant reassurance, she restores this dynamic. She is not running away, but she is not standing still either. She is moving, growing, evolving, and you are drawn to keep up, to walk alongside her, to make sure you are not left behind. That natural movement fuels your desire far more than static comfort ever could. And at the heart of this lies respect. You do not want her more because she is distant, but because she is whole. You recognize her strength, her individuality, her right to exist outside of you. And the paradox is this: when she does not need you, you feel a deeper urge to be chosen by her. Because being needed may flatter your ego, but being chosen satisfies your soul. Independence turns love into a choice renewed daily, not a dependency maintained out of fear. So you want her more when she carries mystery, when she stands on her own, when she refuses to collapse into the relationship as her only identity. You want her because she reminds you that true desire is not about possession. It is about the magnetic pull between two complete beings who choose to meet in the middle. It is about the space that fuels curiosity, the independence that sparks admiration, and the quiet mystery that keeps your heart leaning forward, always wanting just a little more, keeping the same flowing, intellectual, motivational tone as before. You want her more when she introduces contrast into the relationship, when there is a rhythm between closeness and distance, affection and restraint, presence and absence. Desire is not born from constant comfort, it is born from tension. It is the pull that exists in the space between what you already have and what you could lose, between what is certain and what is uncertain. Without contrast, desire fades into routine. But with contrast, passion sharpens and attraction deepens. Think about the nature of music. A single note held endlessly becomes monotonous, but when sound is arranged with pauses, crescendos, and silence, the result is harmony. The tension between sound and silence is what gives music its beauty. The same principle applies to relationships. If someone is endlessly available, endlessly agreeable, endlessly present, the song of desire becomes flat. But when she weaves a rhythm of presence and absence, warmth and coolness, certainty and mystery, the relationship acquires its melody. You want her more because there is something to lean into, something to anticipate, something to feel with heightened awareness. This is not about creating conflict for the sake of conflict. It is not about manipulation or game playing. True emotional contrast is not artificial, it is natural. No person can be endlessly present, endlessly attentive, endlessly giving. There are times when she withdraws to recharge, to pursue her own world, or simply to breathe. These moments of distance create the conditions for renewed desire. When she returns, her presence feels fresh again, not taken for granted, not dulled by overexposure. What makes desire powerful is not stability alone, but fluctuation. Imagine a fire. If the flame burns at the exact same intensity without variation, eventually it becomes background noise, something you stop noticing. But if the flame flares, dims, flickers, and surges again, your attention is captured. You want to watch it. You want to feel it. That is what emotional contrast does. It keeps the fire alive. Psychologists have long studied the concept of intermittent reinforcement, the idea that people respond more strongly to rewards when they are not predictable. If every gesture of affection, every word of validation, every sign of intimacy were constant and automatic, they would lose their potency. But when they appear with contrast sometimes offered, sometimes withheld, the impact is multiplied. It is not about withholding love intentionally, but about allowing space for absence to give presence its true value. You want her more when affection is not mechanical, but when it feels like a gift, renewed in its freshness each time. This is why tension is so vital. Tension does not mean conflict, it means energy. It is the electricity in the space between you. When she is close, that energy fulfills you. When she is distant, that energy pulls you toward her. Without tension, the relationship becomes flat, predictable, drained of vitality. With tension, it becomes alive, charged, and capable of surprising you. The paradox is that many people resist this rhythm. They want constant certainty, constant reassurance, constant presence, as though desire could be sustained in the absence of contrast. But certainty without any mystery suffocates passion. What keeps you leaning forward, what keeps you engaged, is not knowing every answer, not having every moment secured. It is the feeling that there is still more to discover, still something just out of reach. You want her more when she allows that space, when she embodies the ebb and flow that makes intimacy dynamic instead of stagnant. Emotional contrast also reveals the depth of your own feelings. When she steps away, even briefly, you feel the weight of her absence. That absence makes you realize how much she means, how deeply her presence affects your world. You do not notice the oxygen you breathe until it is taken from the room. In the same way, you do not fully recognize the depth of your attachment until she is not immediately beside you. That tension awakens awareness, and awareness strengthens desire, and at the heart of this is a truth. Passion is not sustainable without polarity. There must be movement, difference, fluctuation. You want her more when the relationship dances between comfort and anticipation, intimacy and distance. The contrast is what gives meaning to each moment. Just as day has meaning because of night, warmth has meaning because of cold. Closeness has meaning because of separation. Desire feeds on this rhythm, and when it is present, attraction does not just survive, it grows. So you want her more not because she is constantly there, endlessly giving, endlessly known. You want her more because she allows the space for longing to breathe, for imagination to play, for appreciation to sharpen. Emotional contrast and tension are not obstacles to desire, they are the very conditions that keep it alive. Motivational and psychologically deep tone as before. You want her more when she challenges you, when she refuses to allow complacency to take root, when she demands the best of you not with words alone, but through the standards she sets by the way she lives. Life's attraction is not only about physical beauty or emotional connection, it is also about growth. A woman who calls you forward into your higher self, who does not tolerate laziness or mediocrity in your spirit, becomes more than just a partner, she becomes an inspiration. And inspiration magnifies desire. At first, this may seem counterintuitive. Many men believe they want ease, someone who never questions, never demands, never disrupts their comfort. But comfort rarely sustains desire. Comfort can soften discipline, dull ambition, and slowly erode respect. You want her more when she awakens the part of you that wants to rise, when she compels you to sharpen your focus, to discipline your habits, to expand your vision. The truth is, we value you most deeply those who call forth our highest potential. And when she embodies that role in your life, not by nagging or criticizing, but by expecting more from you because she herself embodies more, you feel an inner fire ignite. Challenge and growth go hand in hand. Human beings are wired for progress, for movement, for becoming. When a relationship stagnates, when there is no growth, desire withers. But when a woman expects growth, when she makes it clear that your words must align with your actions, that your dreams must align with your discipline, you feel the pull of attraction strengthen. She is not interested in empty promises. She is interested in the man you are becoming, and that expectation creates a standard that elevates you both. Self-respect is at the center of this. A woman who respects herself will not allow you to remain small. She will not enable your excuses, your complacency, or your self-sabotage. Her self-respect compels you to respect her, and through that respect, you want her more. You admire her for not lowering her standards, for not compromising her integrity, for not shrinking to make you feel comfortable. She does not need you to approve of her values. She lives them, and that kind of integrity is magnetic. This is why relationships built on dependency or control quickly lose their spark. If she needs you to validate her constantly, if she collapses into your identity instead of owning her own, the dynamic becomes one of comfort but not desire. You may feel secure, but you will not feel alive. Desire requires polarity, and polarity requires challenge. When she holds her own ground, when she expects you to rise, when she insists on her own dignity, you feel compelled to meet her at that level. You want her more because she makes you want to become more. There is also a deeper truth here. You cannot truly desire someone you do not respect. Respect is the foundation of sustained attraction, and respect is born from growth, from challenge, from the refusal to settle. When she embodies values that inspire you, discipline, ambition, integrity, you see her not just as a partner, but as a standard. You want her because she is beautiful, yes, but you want her more because she embodies something higher, something that awakens your admiration. And admiration is a powerful form of desire. Think about the moments in your life when you felt the most alive in a relationship. Were they moments of ease, or were they moments when you were pushed, when you were stretched, when you were called to rise? True desire thrives not in the absence of struggle, but in the presence of meaningful challenge. A woman who expects you to lead yourself, to master your impulses, to discipline your habits, is not burdening you. She is awakening you. And in that awakening, you find yourself wanting her more than ever. The paradox of desire is that it is not just about what she gives to you, but about what she demands of you. You want her more when she does not let you settle for mediocrity, when she reflects back to you the man you could be. That reflection may be uncomfortable at times, but it is precisely that discomfort that fuels growth. And growth is irresistible because it aligns you with purpose. So you want her more when she embodies growth, when she challenges your weakness, when she carries herself with unshakable self-respect. You want her more because she does not simply fill a space in your life, she expands it. She becomes the mirror that shows you your potential, the force that pulls you into integrity, the presence that reminds you that love is not just comfort, but transformation. And transformation, far more than ease, is what keeps desire alive.